All right, welcome back to another Glowing Up DeFi podcast. Today we are speaking with Affinity, and we have Carl as well, and I am Jared with the VP of Education role. We have two members from Affinity. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
All right, thanks, guys. Guys, I appreciate you having us here to come and talk about Affinity and be with you guys today. I'm Chris. I'm the CEO of Affinity, one of the founders as well. And, we also have Zach here, our CMO. So what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? I appreciate you guys having us on as well. Anytime that we can come on and shed light on DeFi and how we can educate people is where we're at. My name is Zach, as Chris has said. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer. I do everything from PR and day-to-day partnership oversight, and of course the general marketing duties that come with it.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you guys for popping on and speaking with us. So I guess hopping right into it, Affinity. What is Affinity in the DeFi space?
So Affinity was created for a couple reasons. One of the major reasons was to stop bringing things to DeFi that are drastically needed. We see a lot of things out there that are not so good. There are a lot of great things out there, but there are definitely some things that are not so good with either blatant scams or just things that don't quite function the way we need them to function in order to really promote mass adoption. As we see crypto grow and DeFi grow right along with it, we need to make sure that newcomers as well as seasoned veterans alike can move around the space and function and operate the way we've come to know in traditional finance and other ways, in order to really promote, this idea of crypto becoming, a main source of currency around the globe. And like I said, security goes hand in hand with that. So while we're out there developing, we always have these things in mind. Anything that we create, is first and foremost trying to increase security, make things safer for people, try to limit the exposure to risk. And when we say risk, we mean hacking or scams and things like that, as well as educating people on how DeFi works, just like you all are doing here with this podcast, and I'm sure on other fronts as well. We share that thought and that passion for education, and again, like by creating other products that make things easy for people to use crypto in their general lives.
I'm glad you said that part about education. In doing this podcast, the goals is education, and that's going to be something I'm going to be doing a lot of as well with Jared for Glow. What would you say is the biggest disparity in education right now? What would you think is the biggest thing that people need to learn in DeFi right now to help protect them, or to help them make sure they make the right decisions in the future when they're investing in companies?
That's a tough question because there is a lot of things going on. But I would say one of the biggest things to know is really, what is the difference between, an actual good asset and something that is strictly, like a moonshot, so to speak, or things that are just meant to be, pump and dump or whatever. Because most people that are brought in, the newcomers that are brought in, that are not savvy, they'll see it on social media, or they'll see it wherever. And in my opinion, a lot of them are brought in from influencers or things that they just see across social media. And people that are in this game know that the majority of those are paid promotions or whatever it may be, and it gets them in trouble. That's where the majority of rug pulls happen. That's where the majority of honeypots and other things. And I know there's this logic of let me try to get into something, and I can roll $100 into $1 million in a week, playing the lottery type thing. But really, that's not the fundamentals of what crypto and DeFi is aimed to be. That is a side thing. That is something that came out of these some of the meme stuff that came out, and it's just not the case. That's maybe 0.03%, and I'm just making that number up, of actual projects that ends up happening to. But the way it's promoted, it seems like that's all of them, and that's what your aim and your goals should be. So I feel that one of the biggest pieces of education really needs to be how to do your research into what is something you really should be looking into. What is the foundational, measurements that you should be looking at in a project, a team, in their utility or whatever it may be, to tell the difference between something that can be diamond handed in a long term hold, versus something that really should be either passed over or played a completely different way.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I feel like last year there was this just massive wave of everybody trying to catch a big pump and thinking they're going to make millions of dollars. And now you're starting to see the more serious people that are, looking for legit projects, looking for legit utilities that are actually moving the space forward versus just aping into a project and hoping you're going to become rich. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
nice. It's nice seeing these DeFi projects pop up that are actually creating utilities that are beneficial for the space.
Yeah, and let's face it, right? Like we know that stuff brings people in, and the more eyeballs and the more people we can get in, and I know Zach would agree with this. No press is bad press, but at the same time, we're playing with people's real hard-earned funds. So when we look at all that stuff that happens with people just aping into things, and people thinking that they're going to come in and just make you know money hand over fist just because they're in crypto, yeah, seeing that shift is great, because in order to move everything forward, you have to have people that are working hard to innovate and make things that don't exist and really change the space. Because if you don't, we just get stuck in this cycle of money just getting, cycled from one person to the other through these mostly scams. So yeah, you need things to propel this forward, or it's never going to be taken seriously, which means it's never going to be mass adopted to the level that it should be.
Yes, absolutely. So speaking of utilities and in creating utility for DeFi, Zach, you're the marketing guy. So what is Affinity building to help DeFi?
100%. I guess the first thing I want to label on what we are. So we are an established company now. We actually just make the transition into a corporation. So we're actually Affinity Innovations Inc. And we did that to solidify A, that we're not going anywhere, and B, that the products that we come out with, they have an actual company behind them. We do have patents on all of our products for the ones that are launching now and the ones coming in the future. So what we've built is essentially a premier way to send crypto business to business, business to customer, or peer to peer with just a username. Break that down a little bit. So the typical way that you would send crypto person to person, if I wanted to send Legion here, $100 worth of BUSD, then I would have to ask for his wallet address, hope that I copied it correctly, pasted it, and obviously sent it. And as we know in this space, that's actually might be it's a little bit, I say, harder, but it's done wrong more times, or almost equally the amount of times that it's done right. Unfortunately, a lot of people have lost money sending money to the wrong address. About 3 months ago, I read an article that 20% of Bitcoin has been lost through failed sending. That's a lot of money. Imagine crypto as a whole, or DeFi, right? So we can say safely billions of dollars have been lost by sending to the wrong people. And when new products come out, and we always ask, how, or are asked, how can you break into the real world? How can you create something innovative that's actually going to take the world by storm? And this is it. We need something like this. Products that surface, products that blow up are something that people need and don't realize they do until they do it wrong, right? So all it takes is sending money to the wrong address once till you think there's got to be another way. Well, we have that way.
Yeah, in our case, it took twice. So I actually did this twice, and then that's where the idea came up. I said, "This is absurd. Why am I sending? This is 2022. I get it. Crypto and DeFi was relatively new, but why the hell am I copying somebody's public key, pasting it into something else to send transactions? That we've had things that utilize usernames for decades now. So why is this not being done?" And that's kind of where the idea came from. But yeah, like I said, it took me twice. And to give a perfect use case example of this, say, because Glow token is listed on Adapt. So if I wanted to send, a family member or a friend some Glow token, all I have to do, and I can use my favorite wallet. It can be used with Trust Wallet, SafePal, SafeMoon Wallet, whatever wallet that you MetaMask, whatever wallet you choose to use. I can simply connect to it, and I don't even need to contact that person as long as they already have an account set up on Adapt. All I need to do is ask them what their username is. Type in their username. I select from the drop down Glow token. I type in how many Glow tokens, and I hit send, and they will get that token. I don't even need to ask them their wallet address ever, anything like that. Same thing when we go to the POS system and we do more business to business. If somebody wants to accept Glow token as their token of choice for payment, same type of thing. They can select that token from the drop down, and you can pay them based on USD value.
And I think I did miss that. So our use case, Chris mentioned it once, but our use case is called Adapt, Affinity Digital Asset Payment Technology, and that is the overarching name of it because we have multiple branches of Adapt that will be built out. So we have the sending forward function of Adapt, enables you to send with just a username. We do have a swap function a part of Adapt, so any token that is safely listed on Adapt, because we do nobody can just add any token to Adapt. We do a small screening. Obviously you have to be established for a certain amount of time. We check the team. We sit down with most teams we've had to sit down with or had some type of connection with anyways who's been listed. But either way, we do have an application process. And if you're safely listed on Adapt, you could then be bought through Adapt. So with Glow, because you guys are listed, no one has to go through Pancake Swap and worry about copying the correct contract address or worrying about slippage. We create a universal swapper contract for anybody listed that enables us to, enables investors to then buy any token. We will have a peer-to-peer exchange be built out in the future as well. So there's multiple avenues that we're going to go. And lastly, that I want to talk about, that we do have a mobile app coming out for this within the next 3 weeks. 2 weeks we'll call it 3 weeks. We're kind of like in the weird middle spot of the month. But in 3 weeks, we will have the app coming out. So right on iOS and Android, you'll be able to download Adapt and hook up your favorite wallets to it and be able to send crypto to anybody with just a username.
That's awesome. Kind of piggybacking off of that, is there the ability to add multiple wallets under the same username?
No. So each wallet is tied to its own unique unique username. What we are building out to though is the multi-address, or essentially cross-chain multi-address. So addresses like ETH, Polygon, Matic, BSC, they all share the same wallet address. So you'll be able to take that username and go across multiple chains.
Okay, that leads me to a question. This sounds kind of exciting. Okay, I hold Affinity, staked Affinity. I've used the swap. The only thing I have not done, I have not actually used Adapt. Just call me greedy. I don't send crypto to anybody. But I can say that one of my mistakes I made plenty of times, when I was new to all of this, was sending to the wrong address, BSC to a ETH address or to an ETH wallet and losing everything. If I'm understanding this correctly, if I'm sending something that is a partner in Adapt and I'm sending it to a username, and I'm new and I really don't know what I'm doing, I really don't have to worry about sending it to the wrong kind of address and getting lost because I'm sending it to a username and just picking the crypto. So it's kind of doing all that for me.
That is correct. So when you connect to it, it's going to tell you what network you're on. So I know for anybody that might listen to this that is not really sure what that means. Um, since BSC or BNB originally was a fork, or think of it sort of like a copy of Ethereum that they made better. The address is that public hash, which is known as your wallet address, is identical. They're just on two different networks. So with Adapt, it recognizes what network you're on. So if, say, you're on the BNB network and you send a token or you send BNB or BUSD or whatever it may be, it will get to the BNB wallet of the person you're sending it to. If you switch networks to Ethereum, it will tell you, you'll get, the banner will change. It'll say you're on the Ethereum network. So when you send anything from that network, it will get to the Ethereum network wallet for the person that's receiving it using the same username.
And I'll share a mistake. I'll take one for the team just so people don't understand how big a deal that is. When I was still new, this is before I even had SafeMoon. I was collecting VeChain, and I had quite a little collection of it. I think it was like $600, and on Crypto.com, and I was going to send it to my Crypto.com wallet, and it never showed up. So then a little bit more research, I found out that the Crypto.com wallet actually did not support VeChain. So the $600 of VeChain still floating out there in the ether somewhere that I will never see again. So the ability to send crypto to someone else and not worry about, oh, are they going to get it? Is it the right thing? Is actually a huge deal. I hope that everyone can use something like this and never even know why it's a big deal, or why it's or even know what not having it is, if that makes sense, because
Yeah.
that's so wonderful.
I agree.
It so with ours too, you can't possibly send a token that the other end can't receive because we only list, the only options are going to be on there. Like Zach had said, you can't manually add something or type in whatever you want. It just, we add them, and of course all the pegged and all that good stuff that are pretty generic on the blockchains are added. But still, you select it, it'll read from your wallet how much you have, and then you can put how much you want to send in there. Another perfect example is that we do giveaway. I don't know how often you do giveaways with your community, but when we do giveaways on Fridays, a lot of times there's upwards of 20 people that I have to pay out every night. And because of Adapt, I can get that done in about 15 minutes without ever asking anybody for their wallet address. So it's perfect.
That's awesome. Yeah, the whole security aspect is huge, especially for new people that, are getting into DeFi and they don't quite know what they're doing. So by removing that headache of, am I sending it to the right address? Is this the right chain? That's awesome.
What it sounds like to me is if everyone just deals with Affinity, BUSD, ADA, SafeMoon, and Glow, and just transact with only them, they have no worries. They can use
No worries at all.
Yeah, no worries. They can use the Adapt. They can send it. They can swap it, and just hold on for dear life, and everything will be fine. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yeah, pretty spot
I think
on.
you nailed it.
I think that's a good way to caveat into our passive income. Why is Adapt so important? How does it benefit Affinity? We don't talk about our reflections much because we don't view ourselves as a reflection token by any means. But I'm sorry, Glow, but arguably have the most or the best BSC, best rewards in BSC. We do give 87.5% of our total taxes back to holders in BUSD and ADA. 8.75% goes to liquidity and burn, and then 3.75% goes to marketing. So we're very, very big into the community and our holders benefiting the most out of this than anybody else. So with that, any transaction that happens on Adapt, so sending or in the swap or when the exchange comes out or any other avenue that we go, there's a 0.75% fee. You can market that against other big name competitions out there, your Venmos, your PayPals, your Cash Apps. Their fees to send are somewhere in the 1.5 to 2% realm. Especially, I mean, that's just fiat. To send crypto on Venmo is upwards to like 3 to 4% at max if you're sending a bigger amount. It's crazy. But with that aside, so each transaction, 0.75%, gets set aside into a contract in which that we can use to buy and burn or push rewards manually. So the way that I market it and the way that I push it out, of course, is the Cash App of crypto. And imagine if Cash App had a token that was being pumped by even that 2% fee, millions of dollars would pump that token daily. And we have that. So obviously we're here for the long haul. We know that we're not going to get millions of dollars pumped through Adapt immediately. But as people continually use this, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you just do like a $24,000 buyback like 2 weeks ago?
I did. It was about 2 billion tokens, which was, it was about just over $20,000, $24,000, I believe.
Yeah, so $24,000 we were able to buy back from the the amounts that have been sitting from transactions through swap and people sending their tokens. We were able to then use that and buy back our own. And again, long haul here, as we're able to do that in the masses, it could extremely beneficial to the chart. Again, long haul here, you don't need buys and sells to pump the token anymore with a utility that can do it for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. Buyback and burn is a huge tool. So for those who don't know what that means, they're using funds allocated from their utilities that they're purchasing the token and then essentially just burning it. So those tokens go down, and then the supply goes down and the demand goes up. So it's definitely a very useful utility to have.
Our burn function is actually a little bit different as well. Chris, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so in the simplest terms, the way our burn works is rather than send it to a dead wallet, it kind of works like a reverse mint. So it'll actually reduce the supply at the contract. So those tokens are quote unquote deleted from the blockchain. It basically just recalculates, and the contract just reduces the number based on how many tokens you put into the function and tell it to remove. So, look at it as like a reverse mint where minting is adding tokens. Our contract does not have a mint function, like most of them don't. But it's basically like the reverse of that, where it actually reduces the number of tokens available. It does not send them to a dead wallet.
And I'm actually going to shill something for y'all because I actually am a fan of Affinity myself. You can actually stake your Affinity right now, get rewards in either Affinity or SafeMoon, and still get your rewards in BUSD and ADA on top of it. So, like, I have one bag that is staked I think it's 90 days or 180 days, whatever. I'm going to leave it there forever. I have one bag that's staked, and I'm getting my BUSD and ADA rewards. Then I have another bag that I got just for staking for getting SafeMoon rewards. And so y'all haven't talked about the staking a whole lot, and I think that's a really important thing that y'all do as well. Is that the staking is great because it also helps control those people from selling. Because if it's all staked and tied up, you don't have people, dumping because it's all tied up. And the way I look at it, tell me if I'm wrong, but if you have your Affinity staked and you're getting your rewards based on volume, the price of Affinity really doesn't matter at that point. Really, it's the volume that's really going to matter. Kind of like another token out there, GlowV2. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And so staking wasn't even originally on our roadmap. We just got asked a bunch from the community, probably about a month or so in. So we did end up creating it. Um, we have a different spin to our staking. It is 90 days, so there's a 30 and 90 day for Affinity. Uh, what that basically does is locks your tokens. And I say lock, it doesn't. You can pull them out anytime you want. But within that time frame, whether it be 30 or 90 days, if you unstake early, you do incur an unstake fee. This is where it's a little different than any other staking platform most people have been in, where it's if you're in the 30-day and you pull out early, you get a 10% early unstaking fee that gets redistributed to everybody else that's in that staking pool. So, for example, if if you have 100 million tokens staked, you unstake early, 10 million of those tokens will get redistributed to everybody else that still remains in the pool. And the same thing applies to the 90-day pool, only at say 5%, because we do understand 90 days is a much longer time and things happen. So we want to make sure that that was at least a little bit lower, but I mean, there's been incredible returns based on just that feature alone going in and out of those pools. The SafeMoon pool does not have a lock or any penalty. You can come and go as you please. Once you do reach the end of that timer, the 30 or 90 days, you can unstake, you can restake, you can add, you can do whatever you want. You will never reset the timer. That pool becomes open to you forever. The last thing I do want to say on that, on staking in general, because obviously without digging deep into this on this here podcast, traditional staking is much different. So I do want to make that clear. This is more of kind of like farming. It's not staking in the traditional sense, but when you look at the APR, I just want to be a little clear on this because some people come in, they say, oh, well, the APR is 4%, it's 3%. It fluctuates anywhere around there, somewhere in the area of 5, depending on where we're at. So the way we actually do our staking, where it gets paid out once a night, it actually calculates it the way it should be calculated mathematically with APR. So when you compare it to some of the other platforms that you might see out there that are offering 100%, 200%, whatever it may be, and not all of them, and I'm not going to call out anybody specific, but a fair majority of them don't distribute properly. So the math isn't calculated correctly, which inflates the actual percentage visually that you're seeing. So I've done some comparisons, and our pools are actually paying out at least as much, if not more, than some of these that are displaying much higher APRs. The reason ours shows a little lower is because it's true mathematical APR calculated the right way.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So then the staking feature you have, is that specific to Affinity only, or are you going to be opening up staking to other projects that are available through Adapt, or how does that work?
So the problem with allowing other tokens to be staked for anything else is I mean, obviously we could potentially do whitelisting and things like that, but is the tax. So when you're moving your tokens in, so for instance, we had to set up our contracts appropriately. When you move your tokens into the pool, then those tokens would be subject to a tax as well as pulling them back out. So any token that has a transfer tax would be an issue. If they don't, yeah, there's definitely ways we could do that, and maybe in the future we'll open that up. As of right now, it's just staking Affinity to earn either Affinity or another partner. In this case, it's SafeMoon for the next probably we got just over 3 months, Zach, I think, because we do 4 months.
Yes.
So just over 3 months left.
Yep, exactly. So the last partner just rotated on the 26th of March, and so from 3 months from that point forward, 4 months from that point forward. No, it is 3 months, Chris. Sorry, it is 3. We do
3
4
months left.
rotations.
We do
Yes.
4 total. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. I thought I heard you the other way. So 3 months left into this staking partner, and yes, we have SafeMoon. About 2.5 months in, we go and we start reevaluating. Really just checking the area and seeing what's not necessarily what's popular, but we go through our community and see what the sentiment is of the market and things like that. And yes, typically it is a partner of ours, of course. We're not just gonna do some random token. We want someone else's community to benefit from it as well, and diversifying and maybe gaining a little bit of ADA or BUSD on top of their native token that they love the most.
when that safe moon time runs out, get back with me. I have a good idea of who that the next partner could be. I got some ideas rolling around in my head. Just saying.
Too easy, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And we as a community, just like obviously you guys for gracefully having us on here, we promote diversifying. We don't want maxis in the affinity community. We want and we promote other, for people to go out and look at other things. We want people to take their BUSD rewards and do what they want with them, whether that means reinvesting into more affinity or going out and buying Glow or whatever other favorite project, or they want to, whatever it may be. Um, you got to diversify. That's how you keep yourself, in your right risk profile and give yourself the best opportunity and leverage to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. DeFi should ultimately be a mass community of projects working together to bring, crypto and DeFi to the masses instead of just one massive crypto that is trying to do everything. There's no reason that we can't all just work together and bring DeFi forward and get the ball rolling with, virtual currency.
The ship is real big. There ain't no reason we can't all go to the moon together. Right?
Exactly. And I think that's a piece that a lot of people that are in viable projects and companies like ourselves, not that we miss it, but there's a lot of those out there that do miss that point, because you're not keeping people that want to leave, right? So if somebody wants to leave, or if they want to take a piece and dip their toes somewhere else, you're not going to stop them by having a maxi attitude, but they may go somewhere that they shouldn't be. They may invest or put their money in something that's not safe for them to do. So if we can work together to lift up the projects out there that are doing the right thing, doing good things, and spotlight them, if somebody wants to diversify, now they can see options out there that are going to give them the best opportunity for growth and value, rather than being out on their own. And because people are going to do what they want to do regardless. So we might as well showcase the things out there that are going to give them that best opportunity.
And that is what I love about this community. I'll call it for what it is, the Safe Moon community, because that's kind of that's the umbrella we're all under, right? And
Yep.
being new to this, looking for that next project, I may or may not have invested in a couple of things that I really should not have. May not have known how to do the research. It was always just kind of a gamble and what you put that money into, and all of a sudden just goes away. It's I am so jealous of the new investors coming into DeFi right now and having Safe Moon community to go to. And it's the safety of, if you buy something that is Safe Moon vetted and is Safe Moon partner, I can't say it's 100% because nothing is, right. But you're a whole lot safer than I was a year ago. Just throwing money at the wall and seeing what would stick. So going into a Safe Moon, a Glow, Affinity, Enhance, you're doing so much better, and your likelihood of being okay is the chances are a lot more. And I will speak to this as far as diversifying, because I was 100% 100% Safe Moon. I literally sold all my stocks, all my crypto, everything. I was 100% into Safe Moon. It does make your anxiety levels much better when you have multiple projects that you're into, because if one of them isn't doing what you want, or the chart doesn't look the way you do, but your other one is, it makes your life so much better. So even if you just kind of put a little bit here and a little bit there, I do absolutely preach the diversity. And there's no reason that you can't go to the moon with Safe Moon and then have a trip back with Affinity and then go back to the moon again with Glow and then go back again with Enhance. No reason. Why go to the moon once? Let's go a couple times. Let's go back and forth, right?
Yeah. Hey, you're exactly right. And not only that, but I'm sure even, speaking of SafeMoon, John would agree, and anybody else out there that's part of a team in a project would or should at least agree, because not only that, but it relieves the pressure on us. Because if I know somebody's entire bag is Affinity, I know that person's going to be on us, and they're going to be in my chat every day. When this, when that, how come the chart's not moving in the direction I want it to? How come this isn't happening? Because that's the only thing they have to focus on. But if they have other things that they're interested in, other things that they're looking into, it lowers their risk profile. They don't worry as much, because I know in their mind and their heart, just like with people that are in SafeMoon and they know what they're about, and other projects, and same thing with Glow. If you know the team and you got in for the right reasons, you shouldn't have to worry that much. But you can't help yourself, like you just stated, if you're only in that. It's tough to really control that.
I 100% with you, because I was one of those people that had my certain bag of Safe Moon. I'm waiting for a certain volume, and I'm like, okay, when that hits, I'm quitting my job. I'm going to the moon. Well, now, I look at, okay, if Safe Moon hits this, I'm going to the moon. If Affinity hits this, I'm going to the moon. If Glow hits this, I'm going to the moon. And holy goodness, what if all of them actually do what they want to do and they all hit? I'm going to the moon. I'm bringing my mama. I'm bringing someone else's mama, and I'm driving a Lambo the whole way there. So why not give it a shot, right? And make yourself feel better, and secure your future. So
Yep.
we hear too much of they might not do this or they're not doing this, but I don't hear enough of what if they actually pull all this stuff off and all of it actually works. Then what? Then we're all going to be freedom of the unbanked, and we're all going to be free from our daily lives that we know it now. So give it a shot, give it a chance. Let's all go to the moon together.
Absolutely. So I guess let's talk about. You already kind of brushed on it a little bit, but I guess we'll revisit it. Future updates for Affinity. What do you guys got coming out that others can be excited about?
Go ahead, Zach.
Fair enough. I just wasn't sure if this was gonna be me or not.
Well, I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let
No,
you
it's
finish.
okay. I'm gonna let you finish, but no. So future, or more present future, I should say. These guys have started the work on cross-chain swapping. What that means is you'll be able to safely swap BSC tokens, or just currently BSC tokens for ERC tokens. But we are looking to bridge out into the other networks as well. As I mentioned earlier, it's a lot easier to work with forks of Ethereum like Polygon and Matic.
Polygon will be in that in the first iteration, so it'll be BSC, ERC20. It'll be Polygon as well. Matic.
Too easy.
Yeah.
From the CEO words, from the CEO's mouth himself. So we'll have 4 networks on there. You'll be able to safely swap, say, BNB for Polygon, or vice versa if you want to. As we know, a lot of people have to jump through hoops and exchanges and all this fun stuff to get the tokens that they need, and you won't have to do that. The driving point, as we've said from the beginning with Adapt, is to make everything more simple and securely. If we can offer one umbrella product that can, you can safely swap your tokens, safely send and receive your tokens, then we're saving people a lot of money and a lot of hassle and a lot of anxiety at the end of the day. So cross chain is coming very soon. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. Will be within the next month or so.
Yeah, it definitely should be here within the month. So
Cool.
It's already pretty well under development. So
yeah, so that's the next product coming, and then after that, we are going to release the business plan and simultaneous with that, in which that we'll be able to start working on our brick and mortar idea. And then also we have a peer-to-peer exchange coming. So the peer-to-peer exchange is going to enable us to send crypto without having to harm our charts anymore. What I mean by that is, say, I would be able to safely send Legion $100 worth of Affinity for $100 worth of Glow, and he wouldn't have to go and sell his Glow to go and buy Affinity, and I wouldn't have to sell my Affinity to go and get Glow. Essentially, I would put up my $100 worth of Affinity for how should I put it? Sorry.
So, but yeah, basically, like, you
Literally
just,
lost the freaking
yeah.
words.
Yeah, so you're basically creating almost like your own trading pairs, right? You select 3 tokens that you're willing to accept in exchange for that $100 in Affinity, for example. And then if somebody comes onto the exchange and they say, "Hey, I want to get some Affinity, and I have, whatever other token it is, and I'm willing to change, swap it out," they can just go ahead and fill that order, and you'll receive his Affinity, and Zach will automatically receive whatever it is, whatever token it is that you filled that order with.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's I haven't seen that done yet, so that'll be very interesting to see that come out.
I was looking for one specific word that I usually use all the time, and I lost it. I don't know why. It just completely escaped my mind, and that's why I know exactly what we're doing. I just have one specific word that I use as a marketing word to wrap it all into one, and it's gone. So maybe next time.
All good. It's the middle of the week.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and the best way we describe that is if anybody here is a gamer specifically in MMOs or anything like that, and you dealt with auction houses inside those games, or even maybe eBay, you can kind of correlate to that. So aside from the auction style of it, think of it more of like a buy it now type button. Same type of thing. You'll just search the exchange for what you're looking for, and then you can buy it now with one of the 3 um, tokens that they're looking to take in exchange.
Awesome. And then you mentioned earlier about the app. So what is I mean, it's up to you how much you want to disclose, but what is all going to be on this app coming out?
Just initially, and again, the way that I like to market it is the Cash App of crypto. And the reason why I do that is I don't know if you guys are Cash App users. Cash App is the most simplest tool to send fiat right now. You log in, you punch in how much you want to send it to. When you hit next, you select the contact, you hit next again, you approve it, and it's gone and away. We want that to be exactly like crypto. It's a 4-step process. Sorry, 3 steps. The 4th page is the processing. So a 3-step process. You type in how much, $100. You would select Affinity from the drop down. When you hit next, you put in the contact in which you'd want to go to. Of course, they have to be registered in Adapt as well. And then when you hit next again, it has you approve it, shows you the fees, where it's going to go to, the profile picture, making sure you have the right user address, and then it's gone and away. Also within the app, so we'll have a contact list, a transaction history. The swap will be a part of it as well. Excuse me. We will also have a. I don't know if it'll be initially, Chris. Will the message board be initial, or is that going to be coming later?
It's supposed to be. It's still up in the air a little bit, but yeah, being able to send a message with your transaction, like hey, thanks for the whatever it is, thanks for the dinner, here's the reimbursement or something, to be able to send a private message along with your transaction.
Yep. And then with that as well, obviously I had mentioned the transaction history. I have a screenshot. I have screenshots on my Twitter. If anybody was curious to what that would look like, I have posted stuff publicly on what it would look like. Twitter's at CptPoundTown. So we do have screenshots of that floating around currently. But again, that is being worked out, and we should have the beta within the next few weeks here.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys bringing some of that out on the show. I guess we'll kind of bring it down to an ending here. Carl, did you have any remaining questions for?
Yes.
Things?
Yes. I think I'm gonna make this a trending thing. I did this last podcast. I'm gonna do it again this one. So tell me, who is your favorite partner and why is it GlowV2?
Shoot. Oh boy. Put me on the spot like that. I'm gonna pull the dad approach here, even though Chris has more kids than me. I'm gonna say that I have no favorites, and we all know that deep down inside we all have the one, but I have no favorites.
I'm not.
Perfect.
I'm not going to pull that approach. I'm going to answer your question directly, but I'm going to answer it in the way you asked it. So why it would be GlowV2 is because I really like the I don't want to just say charity aspect because it's deeper than that. As somebody that runs a nonprofit organization myself, I have a deep love for anybody that wants to give back to not only the community but the world in any way. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing there. I love that aspect. So I hope you keep it up for a long time, raise a lot of money, and really do great things out there for everybody that needs it.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Yeah, the charity aspect is, one of my favorite things. And unfortunately, I went on record and agreed to have my beard waxed off if we did $100,000 charity donation. So
No.
I'm regretting it, but, it's for a good cause. So I'm excited for it.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you guys the floor if you want to end it with some closing statements, but otherwise we will get wrapped up here.
No, I mean, I do want to answer your question a little bit more directly as well. From one community token to another, and I'd like to say that there is a classification of community tokens out there because there are, not naming names by any means, but there's a lot of tokens out there that hold. I don't want to say their executives hold that maxi mentality, but a lot of executives don't change the maxi mentality amongst their investors. They kind of just let it. Continue to grow and fester and sometimes create negative connotations around it. So we always appreciate other communities and other companies projects that take the positive approach and take this type of approach to bring people together, because at the end of the day, the only way we're going to grow is as a pack. If you have that solo mentality, you're not going to prosper. You're not. Unfortunately, we see it time and time again throughout years of multiple companies or tokens thinking that they could do it themselves, and unfortunately, years later or even months later, they don't make it. So, again, from one community token to another, we really appreciate all you guys are doing.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And we appreciate you guys too. Like I said earlier, DeFi should be a community. It's not one project trying to do everything and, the heck with the rest of the projects. It's everybody working together to get it to the front line and making it a common thing for the average person. So definitely
Yeah.
appreciate the words.
Yeah, and to close out, I'm going to echo some of what Zach said, and what you just said right there is you can't do everything yourself. There's no industry out there that does everything on their own. For one, it's called a monopoly and it's illegal. But two, they wouldn't make it. You can't possibly do everything cradle to grave in any product or anything that you're doing on your own. Partnerships are needed. Collaboration is needed. So keep that in mind when you're standing up any business, crypto project, whatever it may be. At some point, you are going to need to reach out to be successful and work with others. That should go for pretty much anything in your life. But I do thank you guys for having us on here. We too have a podcast, so if you ever want to be guests on that as well, that's every other Sunday. We did it last Sunday, so our next one's on the 24th. Reach out to us. We're on our, I think we just did our third. So we're about to record our fourth. Actually, we do it live, but we're going to record this one because we will be away for that weekend. So by any means, if you ever want to come on that, or you want to come on to any of our Affinity Fridays or anything like that, we welcome you and anybody else that's doing something good for DeFi. So on that note, I will say once again, I appreciate it. Thank you for having us here to talk about crypto, DeFi, educate people, and everything with Affinity, SafeMoon and Glow. So thank you.
Yeah, I'll echo that as well. I'll sign off with our socials. So if anybody does have any questions, want to find any more information about Affinity, Adapt, what we have going on, of course you can tune into our weekly Affinity Fridays. We host a space every single Friday centered around what's happening, new dates, anything like that. That's at 8:30 Eastern. Like Chris had said, we do have a podcast every other Sunday. We started to do that just to gear to our international investors if they feel as though, 8:30 at night Eastern is usually like 1 o'clock in the morning for those guys. So it's an opportunity for other people to listen to us as well. Our website is affinitybsc.com. You can find us on Twitter, any other handles, any of the social medias at AffinityBSC. Cryptorment, Chris here, our CEO, is at Cryptorment. So if you want to hear his wonderful knowledge that he drops all the time, you can find him there on Twitter, any other socials. We do have Telegram, Discord, and then my handle on everything is at CptPoundTown. So if you want any marketing updates, you can come over this way. So like Chris had said, we appreciate you guys giving the time of day and giving us an opportunity to talk Affinity and crypto.
Appreciate having you guys. Thank you so much for taking your time with us today.
Yes, thank you so much for spending some time with us, and we will definitely be reaching out to you to talk more.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Pleasure's ours, gentlemen.